Aloha mai kako, mai Hawaii ai ni ihaua ka aina e aloha. Aloha everyone, my name is Ola, and I'm so excited to be here to share our journey with you all today. Before we begin, we humbly offer this land acknowledgement of Hawaii as an indigenous space whose original people are Kanaka Maoli. The aina from which we join you stretches from the mountaintops of Pu'uwai Mani Ihau to the shores of Puna on Hawaii Island. We also acknowledge the various indigenous lands from which each of you joins us and the original people of those lands. Today, we gather the wisdom and inspiration from our kupuna to our keiki. We honor and acknowledge the sacrifices made by those on this journey of exploration. I'd like to start with a bit of information that'll provide some context and framing for our journey. Historically, Native Hawaiians thrived through the generations. Native Hawaiians today are descendants of Polynesian wayfinders who for thousands of years traversed vast oceans using sophisticated navigation systems, which eventually landed them in one of the most remote chain of islands in the world, Hawaii. Native Hawaiians lived for many years, isolated from the rest of the world, with a viable culture that met the needs of a thriving, industrious, and religious people. The word ohana is one example that shows the deep interconnected relationship Native Hawaiians have with the land and with each other. Oha means to sprout, or a sprout, or offshoots of the taro plant, which furnish the staple of life for Native Hawaiians. With the suffix na added, ohana literally means offshoots, or that which is composed of offshoots. This term then, as employed to signify the family, has precisely the meaning, the offshoots of a family stock. Kinship in Hawaii extends far beyond the immediate biological family. The terminology of kinship is thought of against the background of the whole community of kith and kin, including in-law and adoptive categories. In the 1,000 years that ensued, Native Hawaiian descendants of those migrations built a thriving, sophisticated culture and a complex subsistence economy based on values of trust, shared responsibilities, and communal participation. The ohana still exists as a vital factor in Hawaiian life. Most Hawaiians nowadays adhere in some degree to both the old Hawaiian system and the American way. Modified and adapted due to urbanism, education, economic life, individualism, and intermarriage with other races, is it desirable that it be perpetuated as a social institution and force? If desirable, can it be perpetuated where it still prevails? And can it be revived where it has lapsed? We continue our efforts and commitment to diversity, ethnic understanding, and cultural awareness of all the families of Hawaii to be responsive and inclusive of the diverse needs of the community while honoring the values, practices, and principles of the host culture, Native Hawaiians. The Department of Human Services Director Kathy Betts, who is also the governor's designee for the project, shared some thoughts on the history of NGA support in Hawaii. In 2018, Hawaii received the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation Culture of Health Grant, focusing on cross-sector collaboration in early learning spaces. In 2020, Hawaii participated in the NGA Child and Family Wellbeing Learning Cohort 1 with Casey Family Programs. And in 2021, we were fortunate enough to participate in the second learning cohort and receive technical assistance also with Casey Family Programs. These learning cohorts have been in alignment with the 2-Gen movement and Ohana Nui, which is our multi-generational and integrated approach to the delivery of human services, addressing the social determinants of health and fostering co-creation and partnerships with families and other state and community partners. The onset of COVID-19 required responsiveness from the government and community. We had to make many quick pivots to ensure staff and client safety and well-being. Reports of child abuse and neglect decreased during this time as many mandated reporters were not having regular interactions with children and families. These concerns led NGA and Casey Family Programs to develop these learning cohorts, which fostered cross-sector collaboration and communications, as well as connecting Hawaii with other states on best practices. The following 2 slides clearly shows the broad cross-agency collaboration representing both the public and private sectors. We were able to identify 2 main goals through this work. The first goal was to expand school and community-based family resource centers statewide. We continue to work on defining FRCs and building a shared understanding across agencies and organizations who serve children and families. We are utilizing the National Family Support Network self-assessment tool in the existing school-based FRCs and plan to require this of our network FRC members going forth. This, along with the Governor's Emergency Education Relief Grant we received this year to provide a program coordinator for our school-based FRCs, and the addition of a practicum student to assist our state steering committee, has increased our consistency of practice as well as our capacity. Our second goal was to engage families equitably in this work, sharing leadership and decision-making. We've had our first parent advisory committee training from the National Family Support Network in Hawaii last month and plan to have another in the spring. This training will enable and empower the FRC staff to build and maintain parent advisory boards. We are still working on how we will assess and evaluate the effectiveness of our work across both school and community-based FRCs. As a result of learning and sharing from other states, a logic model was developed. Our hope was that if FRCs become successful, we'd be able to change existing assumptions, to change social norms to one that supports parents and leads to positive parenting approaches. During the first NGA Child and Family Learning cohort, we found out that the Department of Education, Windward District, Kailua Kalahel Complex was creating virtual family resource centers. The Department of Human Services brought together Blueprint for Change, which oversees the network of neighborhood places or community family resource centers, the Department of Education, and other Native Hawaiian and community-based organizations to form the Hawaii Steering Committee, which then led to the creation of the Hawaii Ohana Support Network. Within a year, Hawaii had become a member of the National Family Support Network, the second NGA learning cohort with technical assistance, and was awarded the Governor's Gear Grant. Eala, ealu, e kuilima. This Hawaiian proverb is a call to come together to tackle any given task and acts as our rallying cry to encourage the continuation of this work. We share this final message with you and send you off with an abundance of aloha and mahalo.
Looking back at this opportunity, of course the partners saw some immediate needs and timelines. But the gem for us is that the real goal is aspirational. That is, of serving keiki, children, and ohana, their families, in ways that affect them positively for years to come. Then approaching the work from an empowerment and sustainability lens will help get us there together as we navigate any issues.